Let's go for it. Hello, I think we're live.
Hooray!
Oh my
Hello.
god. What? It's just okay. I gotta be careful now because I don't think I can hear me. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, no, we're good. We're good. Oh, phew! What a
Yay!
stressful time that was. So we were a bit late.
Yeah.
Because you know what? We'll just move right past that because it's not fair to bore the viewers with that kind of stuff. But thank you for joining us.
No
Viewers,
worries.
my name is Russell. I'm from For Chits and Giggles, as you'll know because you're watching this right now. And today I'm joined by, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
I'm Nat. Hello.
Hello. Yeah, so what do you do? What do you do, Nat? What do you do for a living?
I work for Big Potato Games. I've got a long, convoluted title, but I basically do all the social media.
How, I mean, before we do this, because I always forget, and it's like the only format point of the whole entire show, is being called Tea and a Chit Chat. I've got my tea
Yeah.
here. Have you got your tea with you?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Now, that's a great mug. And because obviously you have a gaming side to you, but we'll get to that later. Oh my God, I didn't even see the handle. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's like a
Where
little
did you get that?
controller. It's not mine, it's my partner's, so I just stolen
Okay.
it.
Well, if you find out where to get that, I would like to know because that's pretty damn cool. What tea are you drinking, by the way? Oh, hi, Emma. Emma's just said hello. Emma from
Hello.
Twitter. That's just a weird thing because I know Emma as a friend. Sorry?
It's from Urban Outfitter.
Huh?
Urban Outfitter that sell this mug.
Oh, okay. So I've just been told where they sell this mug, but I'm not sure. But yeah, Emma from Twitter. Hello. The Pointless Parrot podcast. That's where she's from. That's the one.
Oh, hello.
So she says hello. Yeah. So basically, what was I saying? What tea are you drinking, by the way?
I'm drinking a peppermint tea at the moment.
Are you just avoiding caffeine? Are you generally not a caffeine drinker?
I try not to have caffeine after like 3 p.m. just to keep it safe.
Yeah, I mean
But
that's
I'm a
sensible.
huge tea drinker. I love tea. I always get told off for putting loads of different types of tea in the cupboard because you open our tea cupboard and it's just like full of so many different things.
Are you like a collector? Do you have like a bunch of teas?
Yeah, all different crazy types.
My partner's the same. Like he has a bunch of teas, and he's even got like one of these fancy tea boxes with a lid that opens from the top like that.
Ooh, I
I wish I
love
could go and
that.
grab it, but that would just leave dead air, and I don't feel like it's fair to make you kind of hold the fort there. So yeah, obviously I know you from Big Potato Games. That's how we sort of met, really. But you do a lot of things, don't you? Like you do a bit of, I mean, you do Big Potato, but you also do a bit of streaming as well.
Yes, I stream with my partner on our channel, The Lovely Stuff, which is super fun. It's kind of like a variety stream, so we'll mostly do video games, but sometimes it will do weird stuff like over Easter I painted his head like an egg. Which,
That's a bit crazy. Like, whose idea was that?
um,
I'd like to think it was
hi-
yours.
his boss had done it last year, and so we were like, oh, this year he should do it to like show him up. And then we're trying to get the third member of his team to do it next year, but he doesn't. And then they'd all be eggs. But
So, well, so you're gonna keep. You know what? That's not a bad idea. Actually, just keep increasing the number of eggs you paint every year until it just gets a bit sort of beyond manageable. Paul from Gaming Rules Vids has stopped in to say hello, and he's
hello,
having this on. Oh, so is Ian from Unpopular Mechanics. Thank you
hello.
all, by the way. This is lovely. It's nice to see people sort of getting involved. Paul's made a good point, like tech issues, hopefully new tech issues this time, but you didn't see how stressful we were for like the last 10 minutes because it wasn't sure it was going to happen, if I'm honest. So anyway, I've got loads of questions for you. So
Ooh.
shall we get stuck in? Oh, by the way, I should say at this point, because again, I always forget this. If you have any questions you'd like to ask Nat, we try and kind of keep them towards the tail end of the stream, but please write them below. I'll write them down and make sure that we ask them to Nat if we've got time. So yeah, please write those questions. I'd love to hear the questions you have for Nat. Anyway, so this obviously has been a popular question as the time the time sort of brings weird situation that we're in. That didn't even make sense. We're in a very weird time is what I meant to say, being that obviously got this pandemic going on. How have you been coping with that? Have you been all right?
Yeah, luckily, I live in a lovely flat that has a little garden, and we've got enough room that I can be working in one end of the house and my partner can be working in the other end of the house. So we've got our own spaces. But I've actually been really, really busy. There's been loads going on at work. So that's kind of just been keeping me super busy. So it's, apart from working from home, I haven't felt too much different.
So you have been able to work from home, which, to be honest, like, I know a little bit about Big Potato, and I know that they're very kind of progressive in terms of their work culture, and we'll get into that a bit later on. But it doesn't surprise me at all that Big Potato are probably like, yes, it's fine, you could do everything from home. But they were probably one of the first people to do that as well.
Yeah, they were like, as soon as stuff started to get a bit weird, they were like, if you want to go home and work from home, you can do that before any lockdown or anything. So that was really nice to have the option.
And so they've been good to you, and you haven't, like you said, you haven't felt like you've suffered at all as a result of the coronavirus in terms of your work. I mean, obviously.
Yeah.
Good. So in terms of that, like, are you one of those people that kind of feels a bit like anxious about the whole thing? Because I mean, a lot of people are suffering from that, and obviously, I don't feel like you have to talk about it if you don't want to, because that's your obvious business. But obviously, it's a popular thing, and I'm just wondering if that's been sort of your take on it as well.
Yeah, it's been really weird and been a big thing to adjust with. The one thing that I just want to try and make sure is like all that my friends and my family are all right. So it's just been like finding ways to check in on people and just like trying to not read the news too much.
Yeah.
And just trying to take it like 1 week at a time and not think like too much into the future. So
yeah,
it's tough, but I'm really privileged and I'm really lucky that I'm in an okay situation. So I'm just feeling really grateful.
Yeah, that's great to hear as well, because obviously, we care about you, and it's good to know that your employer cares about you as well. But yeah, we'll kind of just mainly talking about that, just to see how like things change, because obviously a lot of us kind of, we care a lot about our jobs, and obviously where we are unable to do some aspects of it can affect us a bit. So I was just curious to hear how you're getting on. It sounds like you're getting on great. So awesome. So talking of work, obviously you work at Big Potato Games, making a lot of very popular games. And I always say this about Big Potato Games: they are one of the best companies at sort of designing and the branding behind the games. It's always so solid. So what your role is marketing stuff,
yes.
Right? And you actually used to look after streams that you did every week as well, right?
Yes.
But you kind of toned that down a bit.
Yes, it was so much fun, and I love streaming every single week. But what I do for Big Potato, you only see like a tiny bit of it on the surface, and lots of the other stuff that I was going on with was just taking so much more of my time. So we decided to step back a bit from streaming. But we've actually started streaming again.
I know.
But it's not me this time. It's Ben, but I'm in the background, like putting all the wires together and sorting stuff out, and like telling him which microphone to buy. So like I'm like dipping my toe back in slightly, but on the backbench.
I was really hoping when you said that in the background, like you were literally in the background, just kind of waving, hi, hello. Maybe it's
I'm more of an internet gremlin.
Internet gremlin, great. Yeah, I know Ben. Obviously, met him. He runs all the events at Big Potato Games. Lovely guy, really sort of keen and very. Now, am I understanding correctly? He was not necessarily the biggest board game person, maybe before, but he is definitely one of the biggest board game people now.
He's definitely one of the most knowledgeable about board games in Big Potato. Like, he's always like, oh, you played this new game, have you seen this? And I'm like, Ben, every week. So yeah, he's definitely well into them now. Like, it's great.
Do you feel like at Big Potato, you kind of get stuck in a bit of like a Big Potato bubble? Because obviously you're making a lot of your own games, and you're actually quite a small team in the grand scheme, but you're still like a big team if you were to consider like a small business, but you're still very like a small team in the world. But do you feel like you get stuck in like a Big Potato bubble, and sometimes it's like, oh, like there's other games happening?
Yeah, we've noticed that as a company actually, and we try really hard to every week, every Thursday lunchtime, we'll play a brand new game that no one's ever heard of before, just to make sure that we're not like got our blinkers on and only thinking about party games, that we play all sorts. So usually we do that in the office. We've got loads of pastries. If you're not actually playing, you'd sit and watch. But because we're all on lockdown. We've been on like Board Game Arena and those kind of places and just playing online board games together every week to keep our brains active and to make sure that we're thinking about other games, not just only Big Potato.
If you don't mind me asking, what are you using to play games online with each other?
Board Game Arena and Tabletop Simulator are the two main ones that we've been doing, or just playing them over Zoom as well.
Oh, nice. No, that's good. And actually, I was just, obviously there's a lot of things on right now, given that we're all sort of stuck in our houses, about the best way to play games with people remotely. Have there been any games that you've played that you're like, oh, that worked really well, actually, over Zoom, for example?
We did a big blog post on the Big Potato site where I think Events Ben and James tested loads of different games and tested loads of Big Potato games that worked really well. So that's really cool and quite a big read. But the things that I've been playing are mostly just stuff on Tabletop Simulator, and that's designed to work online, so they've all just worked really, really well.
Okay. By the way, if the sound is, just to check if the sound is any problems with the sound, just do let me know, because I have the ability to change it, and it's been a bit up and down lately. I've been very loud, and you know the other people have been very quiet, and I'm not trying to dominate the conversation. So please let me know any issues, and again, remember to ask any questions if you have any as well. I really like the idea that what you do with the playing the games every week. I think that's actually a really progressive idea, because it's going to be a bit hard to sometimes acknowledge as a business that actually there are some really great things happening by your competitors, and it's good that you are sort of keeping on that. Has any of that really led to sort of like a breakthrough? I don't even know if you're allowed to say that really, but.
Not to my knowledge, really. It definitely helps us all think about different ways of doing things. So the way that we come up with new game ideas at Big Potato is we have an actual physical hat in the office, and for 6 months of the year, we all write down our ideas. It can be a word, it can be a theme, it can be a fully fledged game. We put all the bits of paper in the hat. And then twice a year, we go through the hat, and we call it a hat session. Yeah. So we all sit around a big table, we all get beers, and we go through and pick out ideas one by one and talk about them and work them up and think about them. And some of them have definitely been inspired by mechanics or themes or like different ways of thinking from other games that we've played. So like definitely the more games you play, the better a designer you become.
Oh wow, yeah. And you obviously do like marketing and kind of doing that, but what I was gonna say, it reminds me Ian's just said what a brilliant way to create designs, and reminds me a bit of like the reverse sorting hat. So I don't know, maybe that's just a bit of a too tangential a reference there. What was I gonna say? Damn, I was getting sort of sidetracked by things, but you know what, let's move on. I got another questions for you anyway. Do you know what I noticed actually? You Big Potato doesn't have a Wikipedia page.
No, we don't. I tried to get one. It's actually really difficult to get one. I researched it and I spoke to some experts, and we've got a Wikipedia page. So if you type in Big Potato Games Wiki, we're on like the sister site of Wikipedia. And apparently that's like the first step to then graduating to proper Wikipedia. So
I didn't even know there was a sister site to Wikipedia.
I didn't know until I spoke to some random people, and they were like, oh, sometimes you have to get on this other website that no one's heard of until you can be on the proper Wikipedia. I was like, okay, I'll try that.
Wikipedia's got so professional and so up itself lately. Like, sorry, you need to graduate Wikipedia before you can get to Wikipedia. So one of your favorite things about working for, because actually we'll kind of talk about it now, because I did mention it earlier on, but one of the cool things I know that Big Potato do, they don't make you work Fridays, do they?
No, we're technically 4-day week, which is really, really lovely and really, really nice. And we've all seen like our mental health's been better.
Wow.
When we're actually working, we're way more productive. We've changed things, so we make sure that meetings are only half an hour long during the week, so we don't spend all our time in meetings. We're just like bam, 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 do the meeting, done, great. So it's completely twist-turned how we work, and we work super hard in the 4 days. Then
Of
we get
course.
a really lovely 3-day weekend.
Well, that's pretty sweet. I mean, like, I'd work hard if it meant I get an extra day off a week, to be fair. And so next question, how do you work for Big Potato? No, I'm kidding. No, I'm pretty sure, though, that's it's a big sell to anyone who's watching this right now, and they might be keen to try and work there. But yeah, the great company and I even submitted a game to you guys before. I don't know if you ever knew about that.
No.
No. I don't want to talk about my game, but but I did it and it was very nice. The guys were very nice about it. It wasn't quite a right fit for the company, but I like that you do still accept game designs. And you have one other thing I'll mention about Big Potato, because I know don't want to kind of focus on that, because there's lots of aspects to your facets to your personality that we can get into. But one of my favorite things is that Big Potato has a very specific kind of market demographic that you are going for, and I feel like every game that they put out kind of fits towards that, which is also really good. And I'm guessing that's kind of given what's the word, kind of made a part of the entire sort of company's ethos, if that makes sense. Is it?
Yeah, definitely.
It's got like a very strong sort of vision about the company that it wants to be, right?
Yeah.
Oh, there's one thing else I wanted to talk about, because this is one of those things. The good news about this format is you don't have to have like we're just chatting. But one other thing I really like, and actually if you go onto Big Potato Games website, every person that works for Big Potatoes gets their own avatar in the form of a mini potato, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually don't know what yours is. What does yours look like, so people can spot it on there?
Oh, I'm gonna try and get a picture of it.
Yeah, please do.
Me when I had a blunt fringe.
Okay.
But I'm wearing a hat that is shaped like a dog.
Okay.
And let me find it. I'll find it
if you
really
can.
quickly.
There's no rush. Like, we've got plenty of time. But that's really cool. I know that. I know I've seen a couple of people's little potatoes, and they're just so adorable. And actually, you know what? I have. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's cute.
Wait,
that's
there
cute.
I am.
Well done. Now. So that's cool. Like, everyone who gets there works with another perk of work in there. So, can't stop bigging up that company, really, can I? I should move on to other stuff.
It's like a little ceremony as well when you get your potato, because like everyone's really excited and like rumors go around the office like, oh, their potato's getting done today. Oh my god, their potato. Wonder what it will look like. And then it gets put on the big group chat Slack, and everyone's like, oh my god, it looks so good.
Oh, that's
so yeah, it gets like
great.
revealed to everyone.
How long into it do you actually get it though? Because they must have to like glean a bit of information about you before they can make it, I assume.
It's usually after like 3 or 4 months.
Okay. Wow, so you have to like put in the time. You know what? That's even better than a probationary period. Because I would definitely see that out. Even
probationary period.
Now, as a fan of terrible puns, I'm approving of that, but I'm not sure about the audience. There was something I was just reminded. Oh yes, I should mention at this point, but you'll see in the bottom right of the stream, there's a follow account. If you are a Twitch viewer and you aren't following us now, please just click the little button above the video player up there to follow us, because we are trying to reach the affiliate amount, which is 50, and we're nearly there. We've only got like 17 more to go, and I believe we can do it. So yeah, just a little plug. I know. Well, we're way behind, obviously, you. I think talking of the other things you do better streaming video games and other stuff, and it's called The Lovely Stuff.
Yeah.
Which I really like the name, by the way. It's actually a really nice name. So obviously you do a lot of different stuff, but I'm guessing it's mainly video games.
Mainly video games, yeah.
So, and you do that with your partner, Elliot, who is... Yeah. Is it right to say he's, like, internet famous?
He's a little bit internet famous, yeah.
And so, for those who don't know, what is he internet famous for?
He is in a little comedy trio from a guy... So he works for a guy called Tom Scar. Mm-hmm. Who's like really internet famous, but he does like comedy videos on a channel called Dark Squidge.
Okay. And what kind of stuff do they do? Just like comedy, like animated stuff, or?
like variety comedy, them just being plonkers on screen.
I mean, he's got
He's also done some songs, some meme-based songs that are quite good. So
cool.
you can look those up. He wears hilarious outfits.
And this is Elliot or Thompson.
Yes.
Okay. Fine.
Elliot. Yeah.
Okay. So how, I mean, if you don't mind me asking, how did you meet Elliot?
Through work, kind of,
Okay.
because he was the friend of a friend, and I was like, I need an editor for some videos, and he's a video editor, and so we got put in touch, and then the rest is history.
Oh, that's so sweet. And so when did you guys decide, oh, we need to stream together?
When we moved in together, really, because like streaming something he'd like dabbled in before, and like I love playing video games, so we were like, we may as well just like, as we're living together, when we just want to play games, we may as well stream it. So yeah, it's been really fun.
Cool. And it seems to be doing quite well. Like I've seen, the thousands. Some of the figures, on your little channel are in the thousands, which is to me like so far away. So to me, that's like, whoa, a whole new level above.
Yeah, we're really lucky. We've got a really, really lovely community of people. There's lots of names who come back every week, and we're getting to know everyone really well. So it's just really, really lovely to have lots of really lovely people watching us.
Cool. And so you obviously do video games. Like, how do you decide what game kind of makes the cut? And I'm going to use an anecdote. Like, I've just recently started doing some streaming of video games, like the last couple of weeks, and I just thought, like, a new game, or a game that I haven't really seen, or maybe a game that I've wanted to play but haven't got around to yet. That would be a good idea. But I made a mistake, I would say, yesterday when I started streaming a game called Pillars of the Earth, which, if you don't know, is a fantastic book. There's a board game out of it, which apparently is also very good. There's a TV series, which I haven't watched, but I like it. But it's a bit sort of like tough in the terms of topics that it kind of covers, because it's set in like 1100 and something, and it's really, old school. But it's quite brutal, and literally the first scene is you're trying to sort of look after your pregnant wife in the forest because you've not got any food left, and you've got 2 young kids, and the woman gives birth and dies. I was like, this isn't.
Oh my god!
This is not the right thing to do a stream on. So I get going with it, and it was quite and then it was on another scene about talking about religion, because you look essentially in like a priory of like a not cathedral, but like a church and stuff, and it was very like different topics. So yeah, just you don't always just pick the games. You kind of have to figure out like what are people watching. But how do you think? Oh, by the way, I should say hi, Siang. She's watching. She's a work colleague of mine. Love you too. So how do you pick a game for your stream? How do you sort of make that decision?
There's a few different ways. One that we did recently, we played Half-Life, and so that is a game that it's one of my favorite games of all time, and Elliot had never played it before, and we thought that would be really good because I've got the nostalgia feeling of it, and then he's got the surprise of like, he has no idea what's going on, doesn't know the storyline, only knows like there's a man called Gordon Freeman in it. So we started playing all of that from the beginning, and then there's a new game on VR coming out called Half-Life Alyx.
Yes.
So we've played Half-Life 1, Half-Life 2. Now we're starting on Half-Life 2 Episode 1, and we're going to go all the way through and then play Alyx on VR.
Wow,
so
that's good.
So like taking us on this big journey of like discovery, and that's quite cool. Otherwise, it's kind of just like what we fancy playing that we think might be fun, or if there's games that people can join in on. Like sometimes we play Apex Legends, and people come on our team, so it's just like viewers can like play with us.
Wow, that's great.
They're always better than us, so that's always handy. They like save us.
So they carry you basically.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Definitely should take some of those tips for 100%. I should take some tips from you there. But yeah, I mean, in terms of streaming, and you can refer back to like your board game stream as well, stuff. Have there been any sort of real highlights for you in terms of like stuff you've done on the stream?
I really enjoy every time we do a special effect stream, which is raising money for the amazing charity.
Oh yes.
They're always super, super fun. We've done a few with Big Potato, and I've done a few of my own streams, and it's just like they're such a lovely charity and they support so many people. It's just such a good feeling, like raising money for helping all these people, and yeah, it's just really fun.
So, and the other side of, I probably should have done it the other way around, but the other side of streaming, obviously, I'd say we talked about this with some of the previous guests, but obviously with, with sort of success, sometimes comes with like bad kind of side effects. Have you got to that point where you sort of feel like you've experienced those, and I don't want to kind of bring the mood down a bit, but it's an important thing, I think, for people to understand when you are dealing with streaming to many people, there are bad things that come along with that. So do you have any like kind of thoughts on that?
We're really lucky that we've got some really good moderators in our chat. So if anything like weird goes down in the chat, people get it straight away. And we're also really, really conscious of calling out people in chat if their behavior just isn't acceptable. We don't like to make people feel unwelcome, but if their behavior is hurting anyone in our chat, then we'll let them know that they can't do that anymore. And if they continue, then they're going to get banned. So we'd like to think we're really fair, but like, no, if they're being really horrible.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair. I mean, and in terms of like moderators, because like this is new to me, I'm not that not that popular. But in terms of like moderators, how do you do like that? Is it just? I mean, because I don't know anything about this sort of aspect of Twitch. So can you give me like a moderator 101? Like how does it work? Like do people apply for it? Do you pick people? Like what's their job? Like how much time do they spend doing it? And feel like. Yeah, because I'm curious.
So we've got, since we started streaming, there were people who were always there, always really active in chat, being really lovely. They joined the Discord and they were chatting in the Discord loads. So it's kind of just like people who are just like really lovely. We asked if they wanted to be a moderator, gave them the privileges. And it's just if they happen to be watching, then they can stop messages coming through.
They've got like extra actions that the regular chat people don't have, right?
Yeah, okay. They've got like I think Twitch have just released like a moderator dashboard as well, which is really helpful. So you can like all on one screen, you can be watching the stream, adding banned words, looking at chat histories of certain members in chat as well. So you can see like what have they said, have they been problematic a few times, probably should ban them, which is really helpful and a really cool tool.
Oh, that's fantastic. So basically, the people you trust, if they're there long enough and you can kind of upgrade them, and then they can just kind of give you extra support where you're obviously busy actually playing the games.
Yeah.
That's cool. And it's nice that you have like a backup in that.
Yeah, we're super lucky that we've got some super, super lovely people.
Do you have like big plans for the future, or is this kind of one of those things that's like, okay, we like doing it, and obviously we're going to try and commit a certain amount of time to it, but we haven't really thought of like 2 years from now what we'll be doing. It's just kind of see how it goes.
It's definitely just see how it goes. We have loads of fun doing it, and I definitely want to do more non-video game streams. Like I did Elliot's makeup as well, where I like did like a full face. I'm not very good at makeup, but he still looked good, and we put like a wig on him, and he looked fantastic. So I want to do more like silly stuff as well, and more stuff where we can get the audience involved. Jackbox games are really, really good. We've been playing those a few times. And that's fun because like quite a few people can join in at once.
Yeah. I like the Jackbox game because you can partake on the audience as well, because obviously most of the games kind of go up to like 6 or 8 players. But just as an example, Board Game Geek, they do streaming, given the whole sort of coronavirus situations. They've started streaming and they've been doing Jackbox, and it works really well.
Amazing.
Yeah, I just like the idea that when you set up a Jackbox game, people can sort of jump in as soon as they see the codes. It's almost like a competition who can actually take part in the actual game. I thought that was quite fun. Ian has just said he loves Jackbox, and yes, very good game. Do you have a favourite Jackbox game, actually?
I love the TKO one with the t-shirts.
Okay, same. I'm not sure if I would play that with certain friends of mine on the stream though, because there might be things that people can get banned for in there. Not in an intentionally offensive way, just like a certain combination of. So the game just try briefly explain it for those who aren't aware. It's a game where you essentially take turns. Before you begin, you all come up with like 3 random designs, just like drawings, and then you have to come up with as many like phrases or words or sentences as you can, and then you get sort of given a random selection of words and images, and you find the funniest pair, and then they kind of battle. So it's kind of funny, but obviously it comes up with a lot of unintended, funny, borderline offensive stuff. But it's a great game, and I do recommend playing that with your friends. Maybe trust the people who play it if you're going to do it on stream, though. But yeah. All right, wonderful. So
you can buy the t-shirts as well.
Yes.
There's some where we've been really, really tempted to buy them just because they've been so absolutely surreal.
Yeah, I mean, same. Like, we haven't actually made the jump in to do it, but man, sometimes you're like, oh, if there was going to be one T-shirt we're going to buy. I'd be curious actually to know if anybody knew how much, if anything, they've made from that. Like, is there a way you can actually find out? Because that's a really neat idea. That's actually a really neat idea by that game. My personal favorite Jackbox game, other than Quiplash, because it is really good, is the one where you have to like pitch something. I can't remember what it's called, but it's really clever. You have to come up with a silly words. Like, they'll prompt you for like a silly word or a silly problem, and then you just send it to somebody else randomly, and then they have to come up with a solution to that problem by drawing on a tissue and like a sub heading or whatever. But it's actually really, really good if you have the right group of people and you're not afraid to sort of pitch the thing yourself. It's a bit like Fun Employed in that regard. Have you ever played that?
I love Fun Employed, yeah.
It's a really good game about job interview, and you're applying for a job, but you have to like play these cards. But it's only suitable if you're playing with people who aren't afraid to be a bit outgoing, because otherwise it kind of loses the thing that makes it fun. Trying to play up these sort of jokes that you craft yourselves. It's really clever. So one thing obviously very obvious to a lot of people, you are a female, and the reason I bring that up is because you are one of probably the most, you're a strong woman in the business, and as a matter of fact, Big Potato, who you work for, has 50% or around 50% women.
Around 50%. It was over for a while, but I think now we're back at 50%.
Now that's great. How do you feel like that has impacted your sort of day-to-day working life? Like, having such a good representation of gender like that?
It's really good. I've never worked anywhere that's been so balanced, especially like across the there's people higher up who are women as well, so it's really, really good. There's like a great balance, and it just feels like everyone has their voice heard. Everyone's got like a seat at the table, and especially I mentioned the hat session before, but it's just like anyone can put in ideas for anything. If you aren't happy with certain content in a game, you could be like, I really don't think that this is good or representative. So we've like taken stuff out of games or like reworded stuff to like make sure that it's really as good as it can be. So like it's great. Like I really feel like if we want to say something, we just say it.
That's really good. And I just think that was always good, because I know that they've highlighted it when it comes to International Women's Day, and I think that's really important. I think obviously that doesn't stop there. Obviously every company has a responsibility to make sure that they're representing the population, and I think that Big Potato, again, being quite progressive, is good on them for actually doing that. And I don't even know if it was intentional, but it's great that it is happening. And I think that maybe is a kind of the other way around as well. Maybe the fact that they are such a representative company makes that people more kinds of people will want to work for such a company as well. So that's good. Should just mention, I've had a couple of chat messages. Ross has joined us from More Games Please. Thank you so much.
Hi.
We love you, Ross. And Ian said that he has to put in some love for Quiplash because it's made him nearly wee with laughter several times. And Ross has also just said that you're a professional badass. Fact. That's a fact. So, I mean, I can't argue with that. It's so true. Okay, so Ross has also asked a question as well, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that later on, because I have a couple of questions to ask myself first. But thank you for the question. Now, what was I going to say? Oh yes. So one of the other things that you've done, which I know, is that you helped Elliot with one of their Kickstarter campaigns for
Yes.
Muffin Time, which is actually
Yeah.
a co-production between Big Potato and the guys. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it was their idea, and we've brought it to life.
and how. I mean, there's lots of questions to ask because obviously a lot of people here are backed Kickstarters, but probably not many people watching have actually run one. So your involvement in the Kickstarter was, I guess, a lot of kind of support in a support role.
So I project managed it.
Project manager.
It was a very steep learning curve, and there's so many things I would have done different. Now I've done one, but I feel really lucky that I was managed to it did as well as it did, and that I had the opportunity to just take it by the horns and run off to the sunset with it. So
I mean, it smashed its target, right?
yeah, it was. I think within it was almost an hour that it happened, and then it just kept growing and growing and growing, and then hit over 1 million, which was crazy.
Oh, that's a lot of money. That is a lot of money. One that
A lot of games.
I know. How many games did that actually translate to? How many games?
We were just sorting out the stuff for shipping, so it's over 25,000 copies of the Kickstarter edition, and then a few more copies of just the retail edition.
Wow.
So yeah, it was a lot of games.
And is Big Potato publishing that, or are they just making it?
Yes, we are publishing it as well. It should hopefully be in retail end of June, but it'll, as soon as all the Kickstarter people have their editions, it will go straight onto the retail edition.
Fantastic. And how is that? Is that the first game that Big Potato has published that they didn't make themselves, or is?
No, there's a few that we've done as collaborations. Like the Chameleon is actually a collaboration with Ricky Tata.
Oh yes, okay.
There's two.
Yes,
and we made Truth Bombs with Dan and Phil as well, and the other YouTubers.
So I mean, what's the difference there from your perspective? Like, how does that change? I mean, I guess it's nice to have a kind of another source of people helping you to market it. Is that how?
Yeah, it's good because there's another audience that's not really pre-made, but an audience that you can call on, but you kind of have to know the codes and conventions of that audience, how they speak to one another, how the creators speak to them. So you can't just be like, oh, we've made this game with these people, their audience are going to instantly love it. Mm-hmm. You need to still be like really considerate and really thoughtful about how you're going to communicate with those people, because they're not going to love Big Potato straight away. Mm-hmm. You'd need to be like, oh, hello, and then slowly coax them over.
So yeah, that's so obviously running a Kickstarter. You've never done that at Big Potato, so obviously learned a lot from that. Is that something that you would do again? Obviously, you had a bit of a a baptism of fire, but would you run a Kickstarter again, even if there's a few changes?
Yeah, I definitely consider doing it. It's been a really, really hands-on experience where I've been the person posting every update, making sure that everything we have is ready. I've been answering all the messages. I've answered over 1,400 messages through the Kickstarter messaging system alone.
The fact you knew that right off the top of the head shows that was yeah.
So many messages, and so many messages of people asking stuff that I've already put in the update. So I'm like, as per the update, this is the information you need. That's actually
something I was going to mention. What was the sort of negative effects of? Well, actually, before we do that, Ian he sent this message a while back, but he said he's had to leave. So thank you for tuning in, Ian. Enjoy your food, and thanks for watching. So obviously there are negative things for running a Kickstarter as well, and we've talked actually. We had a little chat with Jamie Stegmaier, who obviously runs Stonemaier Games and actually did a lot of Kickstarter campaigns when they started, and he mentioned the kind of bad sides of running a Kickstarter, and I'm sure that you have experienced your fair share of that. Was there anything that you were surprised at, anything that you were how are people coming to this conclusion?
The lots of like weird conspiracy theories, like because we've been as like transparent as possible. But like when things got pushed back, people were just like spouting all these random things in the comments, and it was just like, why would you ever think that? So it was just like not not listening like, oh my god, why are they saying these things, but thinking like, next time we do an update, how do we communicate more clearly, how do we make sure that we are
Yeah.
giving everyone all the information that they need, while still having like the fun silly tone of voice that we want the
Ah.
updates to have, because we want them to be entertaining as well as informative. So it was kind of just like working with the copy team to be like, these kind of things keep happening, what can we say in the next update when we tell them more information in words a bit more clear. So
That's interesting.
yeah, it was
I was going to say, that's interesting. I never really considered the fact that you have to consider the tone of the campaign in everything, not just the actual page that you land on when you're trying to back it, but from everything that you communicate afterwards. Is that something you had thought of before you started it? Or was that something that's like, oh, wait, we need to think about this now?
it definitely is something that we wanted from the very, very beginning. We wanted it to be, because the whole page is like written in the Astif tone, because it's a 12 online video series where it's all really, really silly. So we wanted it to like feel like that in everything people read about it. So we pre-made lots of the updates, so I'd have them ready to post as we hit milestones.
Yeah.
So loads of those were pre-made, but then as it continued, we could change and learn, but keep the tone fun.
Wow. I'm sure that's like something a lot of companies and sort of Kickstarters probably have to think about, but more so in your case, because the content was sort of very humorous and like kind of specifically quirky. So yeah, I mean, like the game. Did we even mention the game? It's called Muffin Time.
Yes, it's called Muffin Time.
Yeah, I don't think we ever mentioned that, and it's probably a good idea to plug that, right? So yeah, Muffin Time is going to be available when? When do you think?
End of June, hopefully.
Oh wow, okay. And actually, curious, did you get any impact from the coronavirus in regards to that? Was it delayed as a result?
Yes, so we had one delay in the beginning of December because the final samples we received weren't up to standard, so we had to push it back then. And then we had the second delay because of coronavirus, because all of the factories shut down, nothing was happening, we didn't know when it was going to be made. But then slowly things started to open back up, so there was a second delay that was completely out of our hands. But it should hopefully be arriving with everyone beginning of June.
Oh, fingers crossed.
Yes, it's really exciting. I just can't wait for everyone to have it, because I've been on this huge like journey with the game since it was just like a thought to getting everyone's addresses ready to send off. So I just want it to be in people's hands.
Well, it's nearly there's light at the end of the tunnel for you, and hopefully you'll have it soon, and you can breathe. Then delete all those 1,400 messages from the inbox.
Never again.
So actually, I've got a little surprise for you. Nothing crazy, but as you might know, obviously when myself and Dave go to the board game conventions, we do try and do some sort of content. It's mainly turned out to be this sort of board game knockout thing. And actually, we tried to get you to do it before, but we just weren't able to nab you. So what I thought we'd do is do a little mini board game knockout just for you. Okay. Aww. And of course it has to be board game related, and of course it has to be Big Potato related, and you might not feel comfortable doing this, but we're going to do your favorite Big Potato game with a knockout challenge. So you feel up for that?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is really simple, guys. I'm going to give her 2 games at a time. The winner goes through to the next round. So we'll start with 8, and then we'll basically knock out 2, 1 out of every 2 until we get to the winner. So we'll find out what your favorite Big Potato game is. That's why I didn't ask you that earlier on. You might have thought that's an easy question to ask, but I was like, I'm saving it. So, are you ready?
Right. I'm ready.
Okay, so the first one, I hope your favorite's on here. Well, it'll just be the favorite of the ones that we give you anyway. Okay, so the first 2 you got is the Chameleon and Linky.
The Chameleon.
Oh, immediate?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, so it's nice, easy. Maybe that's got a good chance there. All right. So the second. Oh, actually, make sure I write this down because I have a horrible habit of forgetting when I get to the later stages. So, all right, the chameleon. All right. So the next two are Obama Llama versus 20-second showdown.
Oh no, I love them both.
I know that 20-second showdown was developed by one of the people in the team, right? Was it? Yeah. Okay. So, just curious. Not that should sway you anyway.
20-second showdown.
Ooh. Okay. So Obama Llama, and that's like probably one of your biggest sellers, right?
Yeah.
All right.
I like it. It has been.
But I guess after you play it so many times, like you will kind of know the cards. So maybe you're just kind of on the petering out end of Obama Llama love.
I still love Obama Llama so much, though.
So much they made it twice.
Yeah.
All right, so next up we have Scroll and Blockbuster.
Oh no, why are you doing this to me?
This is going to be really difficult for you later on.
Blockbuster.
Blockbuster. I have to agree with you there. I think Blockbuster is a fantastic game and one of my favorites. Okay, so we're on to the last of the first rounds, and it's OK Play versus Bucket of Doom. So kind of classics.
I'm just going to go for Bucket of Doom because I always lose at OK Play. But I love OK Play, but I'm tired of being destroyed at it.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so now we're on to the second round. So you knocked out Linky and you locked out Obama Llama, so that left you with Chameleon versus 20-second showdown.
Ooh, 20-second showdown.
Ooh, okay, Chameleon's out. Wow. All right, so 20-second showdown goes through to the final. Who will meet it? We've got Blockbuster versus Bucket of Doom.
Blockbuster.
Wow, easy. Oh, I guess that one, it didn't seem so difficult to choose between the OK Play and Bucket of Doom, so maybe that makes sense. All right, so we're on to the final now. Are you ready? And these are actually two of your newest games, so this is kind of curious. So we've got 20-second showdown versus Blockbuster, and if I'm correct, both of these games were developed internally by one of your team, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, so, and I know, is it the same person?
I don't think it was James for both of them.
Ooh, okay. So you have to pick a favorite employee, basically.
I'm gonna say Blockbuster, and the only reason is because I've worked on a few events where I've had to demo this game, and I've demoed it hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times, and I still enjoy playing it. So I think that's like a really good test of if a game is actually super fun, is literally playing it to death and still enjoying it.
That's great, by the way, but Ross has just made a very important point. We were promised a celebrity guest, Gizmo, and you don't have to do this, but so we had Blockbuster. That was the winner. So congratulations, Blockbuster. That is your favorite game. And I thought you were actually going to go the other way. I thought you were going to say the same answer, but I thought you were going to say, because I've played it so many times and it drives me nuts, 20-second showdown. But no, okay, so they're both good. Okay, so he's saying Gizmo or Elliot. Now, I feel like I may as well ask you, Gizmo or Elliot? Gizmo or Elliot?
I need to get... it'd be Gizmo.
Is Elliot within earshot? Did he hear that?
No, he's washing up. He can't hear.
He'll find out.
I need to go and get her.
Please do. Don't worry.
Right, I'll be back in 1 second.
Yes, please do, because we want to see Gizmo. So yeah, in case you just tuned in, this is a good chance to mention we've got a follower target. So if you're not following me on, there she is. If you're not following for Chits and Giggles on Twitch, please do. We actually have a little ticker down there, so you can actually see it tick up live. So please follow us if you're not already, so you can get notified. We've got lots of other good big names that are going to be interviewed. So Gizmo is not one of them because she cannot talk English. But thanks for bringing Gizmo on. Look how cute she is. She is literally so cute. I can't get over it.
Oh,
See, did you rescue her? Is she a rescue dog?
Yeah, she's a rescue dog.
I'm so jealous. Like, I've wanted a dog for so long, but we don't have the okay from the landlord. So
no.
I know. It just means that next place we move in has to be dog friendly. Otherwise, we just can't do it. But how old is Gizmo?
She's 3 years old.
Aw, she's so cute. And like, I love that you post about her on Instagram all the time.
She's got her own Instagram.
Right.
She's got more followers than me.
Really? I mean, that's classic thing though. Dog Instagram. Oh yeah. By the way, Paul's just said that he's got to go, but he is playing through Too Many Bones after this stream. So if you do stick around till 7, you can go straight over to his stream and watch Too Many Bones. Thank you for stopping in, Paul. I'm going to ask your favorite question to Nat in the end, so I'll let you know what she answers that in a second. But yeah, so if for those who want to follow Gizmo, how do they follow her?
They type in Gizmo the Gremlin Pup.
Gizmo the Gremlin Pup on Instagram. Okay, yeah, but that's like so standard, like dogs getting more famous than people, and I'm all for it, to be honest.
Yeah.
When I get a dog, I want them to have more followers than me. Okay, so we'll get on to the audience questions, and Ross's question. Because we haven't got much time left, it's been like crazy fast this hour. Ross asked, when it comes to creating content for a company, what do you think are some of the key differences in making something versus personal stuff that new people might overlook? I think some of the key differences in making something versus personal stuff that new people might overlook.
So like personal online content versus stuff for a company.
Yeah. What are the differences in making... Yeah, exactly. Making something versus personal stuff that new people might overlook. Stuff for you versus stuff for companies. Yeah. So how do you differentiate between how you're making something for you personally that you'd enjoy versus making something for a company?
So how I think about it is I think about the audience first.
Yeah.
So if I've got to promote a game, I think like, what do the audience want to know about this? What would the audience find interesting? What would they find exciting? What would they find intriguing? And kind of work back from the kind of reaction that we're after, or like we'd hope people would have. So you always either think of an emotion backwards and try and make sure that each post only focuses on one of those emotions. So you're not trying to give too many different messages or trying to get too many different results from each post.
Okay. That's cool. And obviously it goes back to sort of what we were saying earlier on about tone. You know, tone is very important in when you create stuff. We actually got a couple more questions. So David, who sadly couldn't be here to tune in because he's got poor ear hearing. Yeah, so he's have to stay off the headphones, so he can't take part in these, but we'll have him back soon, hopefully. He asks, what's your favourite way to prepare a potato? Which I think is actually a genius question.
Ooh, I love, I haven't done it for ages because I don't have a good enough knife. I love to Hasselback a potato.
What the heck is that?
So you cut lots and lots of thin lines down a potato, and then you kind of paint it with oil and sprinkle it with... sprinkle it with salt, and then you bake it, and then the potato kind of like opens up.
Oh, so it's like a crisscross pattern.
Like just lines down it, and it looks kind of like a hedgehog.
Oh, okay.
Not with a crisscross, just with lines.
Okay.
Google it. They look so tasty.
So
you can do it with little potatoes as well, and they look really cute.
So it's like a literally fancy baked potato.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. He also asks, do you have a best don't get got moment?
Yes, when we nearly killed Alex.
All right, please. This is a great story.
So we were playing it at Essen. It was the year where we were promoting it there, and we were playing it on the stand, and Alex was sat on the floor, and she started choking, and we were like, "Oh yeah, come on, Alex, that's definitely a card." And she was like, "What?" And we were like, yeah. And then we were like, oh shit, oh no. And we actually had to like help her up and help her. And it wasn't a card. She was actually choking on a bit of pretzel.
Oh my god, that must be actually scary.
She wasn't like bad choking, but it was still, we felt really bad.
So after that then, like, I mean, could you still play it? Like, was it
we kept on. She kept getting us because we all felt really bad.
Can you imagine if she actually got an actual card that says pretend to choke? You'd be like, no way falling for that again. No way. Gosh. But that's I didn't put that in to the board game knockout, but that is just such a great game. But I didn't kind of include it because it's more of a meta game, but it's a fantastic one. Like,
yeah, I love it.
That's amazing. That I think is a James game, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah, yeah.
straight from James's brain.
That's great. I genuinely innovative, and that's another thing that I wish we could sort of deliberate. By the way, that's my doorbell. I think my housemates may have ordered pizza, so please apologies for that. But yeah, no, that's a great, ingenious game, and I think that innovation in board games is still, there. Like, we're how many years into sort of this industry, and you'd think that we'd run out of ways to combine different mechanics and stuff, but that's just so clever, and I think that you've got your real gem on your hands with that one. So yeah, I always think that with that game as well, the real winning moment is if you're playing with experienced players and you get them with guess what, because that must be the toughest thing to do. You have to
I hate getting got with a guess what. It just it hurts my soul every time. I feel like such a fool, but
some people are probably not as good at that game, because I think there's like sort of element of gullibility to playing that, and I think that some people just fall for things. I think they're just too trusting, and I think that's why I'm really reluctant to play
people.
it. Yeah, but you know what? It's all harmless fun at the end of the day, so that's good. All right, well, we're actually coming to the end of the stream, so I think it's about time to wrap it up. Now, if people want to follow you, feel free to plug any of your stuff here right now.
Yeah, you can find me most places at Avesy90, and check out the stream, The Lovely Stuff, and follow Big Potato as well.
Yeah, because obviously, kind of all over the place. You still, I mean, actually, one last question: how much time do you spend on your phone a day because of all of this?
So much. I get those screen reports through, and I'm like, oh no, just don't want to think about how much time I'm on my phone.
So sorry to interrupt, but I wanted to sneak it in there before we could. Paul Grogan, the one from Gaming Rules, his question was, what's your favorite cheese?
My favorite cheese?
Yeah.
Wensleydale with cranberry.
That's good. That's really good. That's actually probably one of mine as well. And I do like a Gouda and a Port Salut, but a Wensleydale with cranberries, if you want that like sweetness, right? Thanks, Dave, for mentioning that. Yeah, not just for Christmas, he says, that cheese. Okay, so just to let you know, if anyone's watching for the first time, we actually have a bunch of interviews lined up, which I'm really excited about. We've got the interview with Bez, and that's happening on Tuesday. After that, we actually got Lincoln and potentially Nikki from Board Game Geek. We'll be interviewing them on the 1st of May. After that, we'll be interviewing Ben Maddox from 5 Games for Doomsday. So we've got a load of people lined up. So if you do follow us, again, down there, or the button's up there actually, but if you do follow us, you can get notified when we do those live streams. So we'd love to have you watching us. Nat, thank you so much. You've been an absolute pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
You're really outshining me with your background, by the way. Don't think I didn't notice this. Amazing. But that's like your lovely stuff backgrounds. You're obviously like multi-purpose, but honestly, thank you so much. You're a really lovely person. I hope, obviously I continue to sort of stay in touch with you, and who knows, maybe we'll live stream or work together one day.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so yeah, thanks so much for watching, guys. Remember, we know where we are, so you can watch us again. Have a lovely evening. Make sure, if you are free, to tune into Paul Grogan Gaming Rules Vid's stream. They're playing Too Many Bones, and we'll see you on the next stream. So take care. Bye.